Yeah, hey, it's great to be here. I'm Cristhoph. I'm from Berlin. I'm the pitch doctor. And are you ready to have some fun, hopefully? Are you ready to get challenged? Yes? Great, okay. So this is going to be fun, okay? Because I'm from Germany, and what are Germans famous for? Humor, right? We're super fun, right? You all know that? So apparently, the people here at the conference don't know what Germans are famous for because they brought me in here to entertain you a little bit, and I will oblige. I will try at least. So this is me. I'm Cristhoph. I'm better known as the pitch doctor. I help startups and corporate entrepreneurs to pitch better. But what's more important today is I also have my own startup because I'm the CEO of the amazing startup Berlin. And that's what I'm going to pitch to you right now. And then afterwards, you're going to hear about the challenge that I have for you. That's going to be your homework. So here's my startup. It's called Berlin. We're in the startup home as a service business. Before I tell you what we do, I want to give you a little bit of a company history, though. Because we were actually founded in 1237, so we've been around for a long time. We were going strong for a while, but then, unfortunately, we got a terrible CEO in 1933 who fucked everything up, and we got into a big shitstorm because of it, and we almost went bankrupt because of that shitstorm in 1945. Thankfully, we got investors in that bailed us out. They got rid of the old CEO, and they gave us a new lease on life. But now what happens when you have multiple investors like this? They started fighting because they didn't agree on the direction the company should be going in. So Frank here, Joe, and Winston, they were fighting, and we actually had to do two different products for a while, one for capitalists and one for communists. And that's obviously terrible, because as a startup, what do you need most? You need focus, and we didn't have focus. So thankfully, in 1989, the team that was working on the product for communists came over to us and said, we have to change this, okay? So what do you do when you want to change your company? We did a hackathon, company-wide hackathon, where we discussed the direction of the company, and we agreed we should do a management buyout, get rid of the old investors, and start working on a new product. And we decided that our new target audience wasn't capitalists or communists, but startups. And that's the product that we're working on today. And this is the new branding that we got, and we're doing Startup Home as a Service. So what's the problem that we're solving? A lot of you are obviously the next Elon Musk, okay? Great, great, great entrepreneurial minds. You have amazing startup ideas that are totally going to change the world. You've been living the ramen lifestyle for a while. Shrimp Toba is a real thing. You've built an amazing team, okay? You're hiring these amazing people, but then at that point is the big moment where you need a place to put your foosball table. You need an office where you can put your team, okay? And that is obviously where most of you say, let's go to the US. The US is amazing. You're part of the biggest startup ecosystem in the world with all the big companies, all the most successful startups. You have the best startup mentors available in the US. You have the most amazing startup investors, and that's why a lot of people aspire to go to Silicon Valley or New York or LA. Now, the question is, would there ever be any reason not to go to the US? And I don't know, I'm not sure if there's any reason not to go to the US, but just hypothetically speaking, okay? Just hypothetically speaking, if there was ever any reason not to go to the US, where would you go? And I think the answer is obvious. The answer is you would want to go to Europe, or more specifically, the EU. Because the EU is the second biggest market in the world, and that's where you want to be based. Now, in the EU, there's multiple competing products offering you that service. For one, there's the product Barcelona. Barcelona is an amazing, hey, people from Barcelona in the house. Barcelona is amazing. I love Barcelona. But unfortunately, it's just too sunny. You're not going to focus on your startup. You're going to be at the beach, and you know this, right? So you don't get shit done. Paris is a great city, but unfortunately, it's just too pretty. So you're going to wander around the city thinking how amazing this is instead of working on your startup. So again, you're not getting shit done. Rome, too yummy. You're going to eat all day instead of working on your startup. How about Stockholm? Stockholm is a great city. Unfortunately, Swedish people are just too damn sexy, so you're going to be chasing Swedish people instead of focusing on your startup. How about Milan? In Milan, there's a ton of pressure to dress up and look amazing every day. As the founder myself, I don't even want to shower in the morning before I go over to the co-working space, okay? So not a good option. Zurich. Zurich is a nice enough city, but unfortunately, they have good jobs there. So people don't have to work at your shitty little startup, they can work at a bank and make a lot of money. In fact, Burger King can afford to pay people more in Zurich than you with your little shitty little startup can do. So nobody's going to work at your startup. How about Munich? Munich is a nice city. Unfortunately, it's very close to the Alps, so you're going to be doing day trips. And again, not focusing on your startup. And don't even get me started on Amsterdam. Because Amsterdam is a great city, but unfortunately, talking about distractions, right? So, now there's only one city left that we need to talk about, and that's obviously Sofia. Sofia is a very nice city. It's my third time here. I really like it. Unfortunately, when you need to focus, is this really going to help? No, it's not going to help. It's not going to help. You're not going to focus when you're drinking every evening with Stefan here. So, fortunately, we have a better solution that has none of these issues, and it's called Berlin Startup Home as a Service. Berlin, where too sunny is not a problem. Where too pretty is also not a problem. Berlin, also where too yummy is not a problem. Berlin, also where too sexy, too good looking, not a problem. And in Berlin, also, as you can see here as well, dressing up, not a problem. Now, there's definitely no good jobs in Berlin. That's for sure. In fact, our former mayor coined the phrase poor but sexy, and that's been the motto of the city ever since. If we're talking about day trips, we have a great feature there. We surrounded Berlin by this. It's called Brandenburg, and there is no way you're going to do any day trips there. And when it comes to drugs, well, in Berlin we don't do drugs, okay? They're not good for you. They're illegal, so we just don't do that. And also, Stefan is not there, so there's no risk of drinking too much with him. Now, this is our killer feature, obviously. We give you focus. We allow you to really focus on your startup. But now I know what you might be thinking. Didn't I hear something about Berlin having all these amazing nightclubs, like the best nightclub in the world, the Berghain? Isn't that going to distract me? Thankfully, not, because this is Sven, their bouncer. And for you, it's always going to be 9, okay? You're not getting in. So no distraction there. We have a beta version out right now, and we know we still have some bugs that we need to fix. For one, this is our front end. As you can tell, it's a little bit messy. We also have an airport situation, let's call it that. If you're aware of that, it was supposed to be open in 2007. Unfortunately, there was planning difficulties, so then it was supposed to be open in 2012. Then there was fire safety issues, unfortunately. Then it was supposed to open in 2018. Now I think they just decided that the toilet seats are the wrong colors, so they have to postpone it again. Or something similar, I don't know exactly. 2020 is when we're going to open it, maybe. Okay, so that's definitely a problem. Another problem is, and you might be aware of this, that Germans are grumpy. Do you know that? Yeah, right. Germans are grumpy. So you can see here we have a little grumpiness scale prepared for you. You can see how grumpy Germans really are. The thing is, Berliners are actually more grumpy than the average German. And scientifically proven, the grumpiest species on the planet, this is science, Berlin bus drivers, okay? So don't even get involved with those people. So we do know that we have these bugs, but we have our best people working on fixing those bugs. This is our CTO. He's doing it right now. Now, what you also might say is, isn't the product Berlin part of a bigger product package called Germany? And technically, you're correct. That's our mother company. But Berlin is not really Germany, okay? We do a pretty good job of keeping the feature creep out. So while we do have to use their proprietary programming language, and that is a problem, because some of the words in that language are a little bit difficult. This is an actual word. You can ask a German person, it means something, okay? So that is an issue, we're aware of that, but otherwise we do a good job of keeping their features out. So if you use our product, you don't have to use any of this weird stuff that the product Germany has to offer, like none of this is going on in Berlin. So, what's the most important thing for a startup? Traction. Do we have traction? Yes, we have traction. We already have 3,000 tech startups in Berlin, and if you're asking me if they're any good, I tell you, they're fucking great. Here's some examples, just some examples. So for example, we have a product that's called IM. They're based in Berlin, startup. And they have a photo platform for people that actually care about photos, where other similar platforms from the US just give you idiots doing duck face selfies, okay? None of that happening on IM. We have a music platform that's called SoundCloud, where the best DJs in the world put their beats, where other similar platforms from the US just give you the beeps. And we have, last but not least, an amazing transportation platform that's called ridemypony.com. It's a P2P location-based pony rental platform. So you can take somebody's pony and you ride it home and then you just leave it there. Where other platforms in the US just give you boring cars. And who wants that? And yes, full disclosure, I am the founder and CEO of ridemypony.com. Now, what's also super important for a startup, do we have actual users, okay? Do we have actual users, and what are they saying about the product? And yes, we do. For example, we have this guy here, Ronald. He said they actually liked my speech there, so he was very happy with our product. We have this guy here who said they actually liked my music there, and he was very happy and a little surprised, apparently. And then we have this guy who's really interested in that wall feature, even though we don't have that anymore, but he really loves that shit, okay? So now, this is our team. Very, very experienced people, focused, good-looking, very smart. That's important. But even more important, we also have an amazing advisory board that's going to help us along the way. And they're really, really, really good for us and supporting us. So, if you ever ask yourself, where should I do my startup? And I hypothetically, there might be a reason not to do it in the US, I tell you, do it in Berlin. Berlin, no beaches, no good jobs, just focus. Thank you. So now you know where you want to move your startup, but I was mentioning a challenge, right? And here's my challenge for you. Because I couldn't find somebody in Sofia to do a reply to what I just did, because I believe Berlin is great as a startup city, but I also know that other cities are also great, okay? So what I want is, I want your pitches. I want somebody to do an amazing pitch for Sofia, and wherever else you're from, even cities that I mentioned, because they're not perfect, give me a reply to this, tell me why your city is actually amazing to do a startup in, and then go to this website that's called startupcitypitch.com, and get in contact with me and say, hey, we have a pitch, we want to do a pitch, let's do a video. Because what can we do with that? We can A, have a lot of fun, I think, because you're all funny people, you can do funny presentations. B, we learn something about other startup ecosystems, and I think that's really valuable. And C, we can connect with people from other startup ecosystems, which I think is also really valuable. So I hope you had 10 minutes of a little bit of fun. I hope some of you will accept my challenge, because I want to see something. And with that, I will now get off stage and wish you a happy evening. Thank you. There you go.